another hypothetical one. I was looking forward to this one. Imagine you were conducting a fantasy draft. Um,
Okay.
how would you prefer your team to be structured? What types of positions would you put on there, and why?
If I do an analogy for football, which is, or I don't know if I have a good analogy with soccer or the teams, but I'm trying to keep it generic. The team leader, the team engineering manager, for me, that is a very, very important role. Almost like the quarterback of a football, American football team.
And
Uh,
you're saying on the technical side, right? Like the technical lead.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Technical lead or other the architect, one or the other. Every company has different nomenclatures for these kind of roles, but either the architect or the technical lead plays a very important role. He's like the quarterback, right? Even as a PM, I don't think I'm the quarterback. You see this engineering team, and you want that person to really, really, uh, you know. I'm more like the coach. A product
Hmm.
manager is more like a coach, and this team is actually the one who's actually out there fighting it out. So your job as a coach is to empower them, give them information, make the right plays, train them, get them enough heads up, things like that. So obviously the engineering managers like that. Besides that, you need to have. I truly believe in teams within teams. There are small divide the problem or divide the project into smaller, agile, more, coherent people who can gel with each other kind of teams inside teams. You can see like within even an American football game, like there's a team of cornerbacks, there's a team of wide receivers, there's a team of like linebackers, things like that, right? So the team within teams, like in soccer, it would be like team of like defensive guys or forward guys or center forward, things like that. I think they're all like a small team who are very, very specific about their roles, but they're really good at it. So that's how what I would like organize the whole team out.
So
So
encouraging collaboration within the same types of position, it sounds like it's a big thing.
encourage collaboration, yet have specializations.
So moving on a little bit, I know we touched on it already, but could you talk more about how you make sure that your product vision reaches and spans across the entire team? Like, what if there are disagreements? Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinions, but like, what if that disagreement or what if that kind of like blows up a little bit?
Oh my God, this is like that is a very interesting question you ask, and that's almost like a job of a product manager, right? To make sure that happens. Yeah, that's an that is the job, right? To make your opinion, make your vision to reach the team, and you do that by communicate effective communication, almost over communicating, right? Keep you know you have to have a short term vision, you have to have a medium time vision, you have to have a long term vision, right? Like when I joined Vertica is like it's like a bit of a it's like our GUI is kind of still many years, like the look and feel is many years ago, right? It looks a bit dated right now. So I wanted to make it more like, I call it a touch screen experience, right? So we wanted to make it more like iPad-y and make it like, fit it in a mobile kind of experience or something. Can we do that? Can we have more like touch screen experience? Can make it very intuitive, things like that, right? So that's always been my overarching goal here. So one part of the question you did ask was, how do I tackle different opinions and people have their own vision and everything? I think
Yeah.
you have, yeah, right. Like, so that happens in every PM's life, right? Every product manager will get 10,000 people, especially there are a few vocal engineers or QA people who have a strong opinion about it. They'll be reaching out. And again, people's vision and everything are their opinion, and opinions are dime a dozen at this point. I have an opinion about everything. I try to keep my opinion out of it. That's my statement. Opinions are dime a dozen, right? Look at data, look at facts, and it's very important to stick to it.
Definitely.
And I think we probably crossed this, but I want to see specifically what you consider some of the most challenging things you went through as a PM.
So initially, transitioning into the PM job was pretty hard, but after
Mm-hmm.
you've gotten stable, whenever you join a new organization as a product manager, it's a tough learning curve. I mean, as an engineer, I feel like you're productive in week, I don't know, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you're very, very productive. as a PM, you're not really productive for 6-7 months.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, nothing good will come out in first 5-6 months.
I can imagine, right? You're supposed to give that vision we were talking about, and you're just new in the company. How do you know what they actually want? Because you can't just come in with your ideas, right?
You're coming into a company where everybody's an expert and you're just like the newcomer, like, and trying to learn, right? And it's almost true, unless your product is, I don't know, you're reinventing the email or something, right? It's straightforward. Then in that case, like, even still, it'll still be a tough learning curve, because building roadmaps and everything is not that easy, right? So I almost feel like, one of the toughest part is getting that going through that initial hurdle, really inserting yourself in the workflow. So if you imagine, if you have a football team, I was talking about American football team, right? If the coach is not there, like, suppose the game is going on, the coach gets injured, the game can go on, right? Nothing will happen. If a quarterback is injured, the team is done, right? So in a way, product manager, if you think of priority wise, right, without a PM, the team can go on. But without like an engineering manager or engineer, team will stop functioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you join this new team, this is a working team. Without you, things go on. Yet at the same time, you can add so much vision, so much coaching, so much experience, that you can make it a Super Bowl winning team. That's what coaches do, right? That's what product managers do. Really, really strong leadership does for a team, right? So you have to bring that to the table, and becoming that kind of a leader is tough.
I just want to move on now, Vishal. We're going to talk a little bit about how you see the technology world as a whole, rather than your experience. So can you tell us, just jumping into the product you're working on at Vertica, where do you see the impact of that product going? And maybe just tell us a little bit about it.
So Vertica, historically, we have called ourselves a big data company, a data warehouse company. Most recently, we have been starting to think about, we are not into just databases. We are not into just storing data or querying data. We are actually an analytics company. So overall, if you realize, there's so much data being generated, but the real value is in analyzing it. So, and Vertica actually is really good at it. We may not have done the best job of teaching people what the powers of Vertica are, the analytical powers of Vertica are, and that is something we're trying to change soon, and it's happening. But yeah, so that's the overarching, I think, Vertica's goal, and the problems we are trying to solve, like really become the best analytics platform there is on the planet.
Because they say, having the data, it's simple, right? The concept is simple. Well, I don't want to undermine, but what they say is that is this data. What you want is the knowledge you can extract from that, and that's what you get through analytics. You're mining through, right? So pretty good.
Yeah, and we want to bring that fast analytics, really upfront. I mean, there are things I worked in, then I was I'm super impressed with Vertica, because there are problems I've thought that we could never do, but I can see, oh, wow, it's so simple. I just didn't know Vertica could do it.
And then what about like on the competition side? Are any of your competitors trying to become more analytical? What does that field look like?
Oh yeah, so that is the biggest push, right? More and more databases, data warehouses are adding more and more analytical features, right? Obviously, we are way ahead of the competition. Right now, for example, I'll give you a simple example. Vertica has a very strong machine learning algorithms that it can support out of the box. Like, suppose you have a data and you want to use, I don't know, time series forecasting or KNN means clustering, things like that. Vertica does it out of the box. Dump the data, right? Select a simple, and we embed all these machine learning functions in SQL. So, if you know a standard SQL, you can say select KNN, and here the KNN means clustering based on the data.
It's all stored procedures. It's all fast and quick, and
the computation is done on your Vertica database nodes, and the result set is pushed to you. So, it's there today, and our machine learning functions are just improving in every single release. More and more functions, more and more features are being added around that. And we are leading the pack, believe it or not. Everything we do, Google, Amazon, they copy us. Later they copy us. We do it, a couple of years later, they'll do the same thing.
I don't know if we mentioned this before. One of the previous companies you worked in was Cognistic. Just to get a little insight, you can probably get more, but I believe it was just building products, focusing on artificial intelligence.
That's right.
So, as a, from your point of view of a PM, what role did you play in the ideation of any ideas in there? Like, what was the focus there?
Yeah, so it's interesting. It was a very interesting position I held. I really loved working at Cognistex, and I think they're doing pretty interesting work. If you think about it, engineering and data scientists are more like problem solving, right? I come and say, hey, here's this data. Here, do the time forecasting, predict like what the weather. Like if in an analogy, you're looking at last 50 years or 100 years of weather data, and you want to predict tomorrow with a certain degree of accuracy whether it's going to snow or rain or something like that, right? Make weather forecasts, right? That's what AI brings, right? However, in majority of business problems, you don't know what the problem is, right? You have raw data, you have databases, things are getting stored there, but what is the problem? Nobody can tell you. So, right here's database, access the database, make up something interesting. Well, that's what pretty much what Cognistics, many companies we dealt with, right? They really they think AI is cool, they think data science is cool and stuff like that. So they want to invest, and they have a budget and everything about that, and they want to invest in it, but they don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
So you can look at the data all you want, you can analyze it left and right. It eventually has to add business value, and that is where a product manager comes in. Product management there required you to work with the management chains, the employees of the company, the customers of the company. Try to understand people's world and really see, how you can, really add business value.
Right. So like, how might that flow go? You look at or you ask your developer, hey, like, do you think we can start predicting weather? Do you think we can start predicting, I don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl, and then kind of they just jump into that problem, or?
Yeah. So and Cognistics has tackled two ways, right? I tackle it bottoms up, and I tackle it, top to bottom, right? So for the bottoms up approach, I always work with data scientists and say, hey, here's the raw data. What are you looking like? What are you seeing here? Are there patterns? Are there correlations between some stuff? Do you understand this? At the same time, I'll start doing interviews with the management chain, for example, and really understand what is your business objective? What are you going? What are your goals for 2021? What are you trying to solve? Like, what are your major problems? What is your pain points, right? They will tell me my pain point is customer satisfaction. They would tell me my pain point is either around, quality of service, or their pain point is everything is good, but increase sales, right? Or tap into a new market. And if those are the pain points, those are the growth areas, those are the marketing challenges, things like that. Once you find all of those out, you cannot combine the two. Look at the bottom up approach. What is data telling you? What are the problems? See if anything fits. And if anything fits, try to build a product vision for the company, and really ideate like, okay, we have historical weather data, and the problem in the world is people are trying to get to work tomorrow. And if there is a snowstorm, there needs to be enough machines, the salt and everything to clear the snow so people get to work. So really what we really need to do is, the problem statement is, I want to predict whether there will be a snowstorm tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. So that I have enough machines to clear the snow, I have enough salt, so I can actually do. So you really get down to that. So then we can come up with a product version. Like, I can tell you with a 90% accuracy that there'll be 10 feet of snow tomorrow. And that's the product we're trying to build.
I think it's cool to hear how much collaboration there is on just the exploratory data analysis side,
Yeah.
Totally. So we're running out of time here, but we have one more question for you. So explain to me, like, I am 5 years old. In 2 to 3 words or in a short phrase, how would you describe what you do?
Sure. I do have a 5-year-old, so this is what I tell. I think of cool apps that will be useful to people.
Cool. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
definitely a definition of a product manager right there.
Yeah. What can you do? Yeah. I actually tell him that because he's familiar with his iPad and everything from school. So I tell him, yeah, daddy thinks about cool apps, all these cool apps, a new cool app or
Nice.
improving a cool app to,
So you had that one prepared.
I do have a 5-year-old, so that was pretty easy, right? I've had this conversation with him.
That was
Nice.
good. Well, we're out of time, so that's a wrap. It was a pleasure having you on Singular Merge, Vishal. And thanks for
Thank you
taking
very
some
much,
time out of your
Vishal.
day.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Federico.
Yeah, it was great.